Well, good morning. Happy Saturday to you. If you are joining live, thank you for getting up this morning and starting your day with me, Joshua Harrell, your travel marketeering. Can I call myself the travel marketeering leader? Is that a little too soon? Not ready for that yet? Uh, welcome to this Saturday session, Travel Marketeering Saturday session. Sorry, I got it all backwards there. I am your host, Joshua Harrell, bringing you travel, marketing, sales, guidance. Marketeering is all about creating a system to sell your services and products. And we just put that travel in there because this is all about travel businesses, building your travel business. And I am so excited to be here with you. And those of you who have joined live, please use the Q&A down below and drop your questions or your comments, or instead of like amen, if you like something, just put a TM for travel marketeering. So can I get a TM? What do we think about that? I don't know. I need some, it's not an open audience here. I can't see your faces. So I love to know when something is good, or you're really liking it. So throughout the session, drop your questions, comments down in the Q&A, and I'm going to answer that throughout. And of course, if you have questions after, please email me, joshua@worldvia.com. Okay, really easy to remember, joshua@worldvia.com. And I'm happy to get back to you or point you in the right direction for some answers. Or if you have some ideas on sessions that you'd like to see, I'd love some feedback on that. Now, my partner in crime, Andrea, and I have come up with a full calendar for the year, but we don't mind, shifting gears a little bit. We don't mind at all. So definitely hit us up in email if you've got any thoughts on that. All right. So today, I guess I should say, if you want to watch this back, or you want to find other travel marketing Saturday sessions, just go to YouTube and search for World Via Travel Network. Please subscribe to our page. You're going to find the travel marketing playlist. You'll find other shows like Destination Conversations, where our Velma talks to different destination companies, tourism boards across the world to give you a little more insight on destination. Plus, there's loads more content there. In today's session, we are going to be talking about, let me look at the title, creating and engaging content strategy for social media. So that's a big, bold promise. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to dig in. And those of you who have joined live and want to participate in the Q&A, we can take this session in many different directions. But I do want to preface our session with, this is not how to use social media or how to use the specific platforms. So if you have never posted on Facebook, this session is not for you to get that information. But what we are going to talk about are the things that you should be thinking about in building your strategy to make sure your content is engaging and is ultimately building your audience and building your social media audience, and the right audience for what you're trying to sell. So we're going to talk about a few things. I know I said it, we're not going to talk about posting, but we are going to talk about posting through Meta Business. I have an old page that I don't think is still published, but it might be. I don't know. For maybe I'll dust it off and bring it back out. But I figured that would be a way for me to show you how to schedule content, so you can think about your content calendar and plan everything out in advance, which that seems to be a common topic. So I did think we would go and do that at some point, but I really want to focus in on your strategy, your social media strategy. So if you have, and you don't have to load it up right now, but if you have a particular niche, or type of product that you sell and you want to be known for, I am always looking for examples. In fact, if you've joined any of the travel marketeering sessions in the past, a lot of the inspiration for what we talk about comes from maybe a situation that you are dealing with or want to deal with or want to tackle, and in particular your business. So again, drop that down in the Q&A. Speaking of Q&A, it looks like I've got a few comments or questions, so I'm going to pop over there real quick. I see the first one in. Daniela, good morning. Thank you for an amazing week of learning. It was so good to see you again. Daniela, it was a joy to see you here in our office. So happy to see you. Daniela was here for just deep lessons in travel. And we do those in-person sessions here in our office in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was so good to see you. And thank you after a full week. I am so excited that you decided that you would still join me this morning. Jennifer said, good morning from California. And she's using our new Amen, which is TM for travel marketeering. Thank you, Jennifer. You're making it a thing, and I'm very happy about that. Um, let's see. Ooh, Heather's got a good question. I'm going to skip that, Heather, just for a moment because I'm going to come back to it. Mercedes, she's giving me something. Okay. Okay. So I've got some people that got some things loaded up. So good. I'm excited that you're excited and that you're here. So let me do a little bit of a backup for anybody that is new, and who has never watched any of these sessions before. My name is Joshua Harrell, and I am the Chief Revenue Officer at Worldvia Travel Network, a host agency based in Atlanta, but serving agency owners and advisors across the United States. I am the Chief Revenue Officer, which means that I am in charge of, very much like probably you, marketing, sales, and service delivery. So the only thing that I don't dip my hands into, I don't know why I had to add an extra hand. Anyway, more the accounting and the technology side of things. So that's probably very much like you. And the reason why we do these travel marketeering sessions, and the reason why I am trying to champion this cause, is I have been a serial entrepreneur. I am newer to the travel industry. I joined in 2017, and I learned what an amazing industry this is. However, working with thousands of travel entrepreneurs, many of them solopreneurs, I could relate to what they were going through. I could see that not only are you the person who is trying to build the brand, attract the business, you're also selling to those clients and you're delivering your services. And if you are on a roll, you can easily take the foot off the pedal in terms of marketing, and you get caught up in your customers, which is great. You're selling travel. That's what you want to do. But you took your foot off the gas because your marketing was so labor intensive. It took your focus and attention. That then when you sold that client and now they'll come back again because you did such a great job of delivering your services, they'll come back again, but you have nothing in your pipeline. Not good. So the only way an entrepreneur can really keep everything in terms of marketing up and in the air and moving is creating systems around it. So what I love to do is work with travel entrepreneurs, to help them systematize their marketing. Now, that does mean that there's some strategy sessions like what we're going to do today, but it should be something you create the strategy, and it's built on what you want to do, what you think you should do. based on your business and what you're hoping to achieve. And then you create the plan to execute your travel marketeering. And that can be loads of tactics, platforms, things like that, lots of things to consider. But by creating a system, you can keep that, make your website your number one salesperson. Make sure you've got those emails flowing, the social media alive, even direct mail. I mean, we just got to keep the marketing going and flowing. So while you're selling and closing those deals, then you've got more people who are ready to buy. You're priming your pump here. You're priming the pipeline, I guess. So that's what we're doing. And like I said, today we're talking about creating and engaging content strategy for social media. Sorry, I lost my words for a minute. So let's talk about the different social media platforms, okay? And Heather, I'm absolutely about to hit your question that you have here. So for social media, we have Facebook, okay? Facebook, Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are owned by Meta, M-E-T-A. So there are two different platforms, but as a business owner, you can bring those together in Meta's business platform. And that's where you can combine both your page and your Facebook page and your Instagram page into this one platform. It allows you to schedule posts, get more insights on how your posts are doing and performing. Um, uh, and all in all, it gives you this desktop platform for you to manage your social. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't post on your mobile phone on those different platforms. You can, and all of that content, all those interactions, they're all visible within Meta Business Suite. But Meta did a great job by creating this tool because many of us marketers had to use other systems in order to manage all the different social media channels, and in particular, the most popular ones, Facebook and Instagram. So they were very wise. They made it free for you to do that, but then you can also, if you're doing pay-per-click social media advertising, you can run that through this Meta Business Suite. So you're all in one tool for managing your social media presence on the Meta platform, and your advertising as well. So Facebook, Instagram, pretty obvious. Twitter became X. If you don't know, it became X. Elon Musk, when he took over the company, changed it from Twitter to X. Um, a lot of politicians, public figures use X still as their communication channel for their public messages and statements. And a lot of artists do too. I mean, it's still very, very widely used. Do I think you're going to get customers from Twitter? I am going to gamble and say no. And again, called it Twitter. It's X. But for X, it is indexed by the search engines. So any content you put there is live text that Google and its little web spiders, I've talked about them before, that are crawling around looking for things to devour and rabbit holes to go down. That the content that you put there is searchable. So it's great for keyword-rich content that links to additional content, whether that's landing pages about a group that you've put together that you want people to find out more about, or to get people to your website. So I do like using it, but I don't think for many travel businesses, and anyone could definitely prove me wrong. I don't think for many travel businesses you're going to see a payoff uh, in terms of customers and engagement the way you will in some other platforms. at least today. You never know what Elon has up his sleeves. I don't know. So there's X. I like including it. Pretty easy to push out content. There you just have to make sure it's much shorter. Then you've got YouTube. YouTube owned by Google. So, and I want to say it's the number two search engine or searched uh, uh, site outside of Google itself. So when you think about YouTube, don't just think long form content. Think short form content. You can create shorts there, or you can share reels that you've created elsewhere. You can share that content there. You can even do photo posts and text posts in YouTube. Now, are those text posts things that people are going to absorb or consume? Maybe not, but don't you think Google might pay a little more attention to its own tools when people are searching for things? So if you're using their number two, then that's a very good tool to use. Forget not to mention just creating video content and making sure that that is a part of your mix. And there's loads of ways, and we'll talk about a few of those ways, loads of ways to incorporate video without having to be a video editor or without having to be a broadcaster, that presenter personality. So YouTube, love YouTube, and I hope I'm not missing one outside of TikTok. And if I am, then please remind me because all of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. So TikTok, very, very popular. It really had very humble beginnings, and then got kind of scandalous. And then all of a sudden, it is there. And even though Instagram, YouTube, all these other platforms have created the same type of experience, TikTok is a different, it does feel different. I think if you've been on it, it feels different. And I will say I was very late to the TikTok game, but I have fallen victim to the scroll. Like I will be entranced by the content. And time will I'll just fetter away my time. Is it fitter or fetter? Anyway, I lose a lot of time with the scroll, but it's short content. Yeah, I'm very engaged with it. And when I'm on a plane, which for some reason I can't get TikTok, then I do the same thing with Reels on Instagram. So I'm now in this mode of consuming content like that. So TikTok, good to have in the mix. And again, you don't have to be this crazy video editor to participate in the communication or participate in the community. You just need to show up and be there and be authentically you. Okay. Um, it each platform and it changes and I don't have all the stats for you, but TikTok is going to skew a younger audience. Facebook, a more mature audience. Instagram, that blend of the two. YouTube, I'm going to say is pretty consistent, but in terms of those posts and things, I don't know what the usership is like. But at the end of the day, now YouTube is attached to our smart TVs, and so are some of those other platforms. But people are consuming YouTube more like a TV channel these days. So I think that's a cool way to think about it. I've done some content on YouTube like this before, and and done it live, and have heard that people have gathered, not like they needed to gather because of me, but they were interested in what I was talking about, gathered at their house, and everybody sat around on the couch and watched on YouTube, and had an experience like they would the traditional TV back in the day. So all different communities. Now, something Heather had asked me about, um, is will you touch on the difference between pages and groups? And I love this question because we all have, sorry, I have a a throat coat lozenge. I'm not sick, but I've been talking all week, so I've got a little scratchy throat. So it had to come up from my cheek there. Um, Sorry about that. That was very personal information. I just didn't want you saying, "Oh my gosh, how unprofessional he is chewing on candy." So will you touch on the difference between pages and groups? She's talking about Facebook. So on Facebook, we have profiles, which are our personal profiles, and then we can create pages for our business. Or even if you want to keep a separation, if you are your business, but you want to keep your Aunt Nancy and your Uncle Bob on a personal, more, here's my personal life, but everything else I'm going to put out on a page. You can create a page for yourself. I have both. I have both of them are public, so it's pretty much the same content everywhere, but that's just how it evolved. I have a personal Joshua Harrell Facebook page, and I've got a public Joshua Harrell page. Now, the page is connected to Meta Business. And so you can't that's where you're going to be scheduling your posts, and you could also post on Instagram through that platform. So it separates it out into more of that business tool, the page does. It looks similar, but it does allow for a business to, if you have a physical address, you're putting a physical address there. Your personal page doesn't have that information, and people can leave reviews, things like that. So you can open up your public page, just open up to the public, and anyone can follow you there. Then Facebook has groups. And you maybe you belong to some groups, maybe even like neighborhood groups. You belong to the neighborhood groups. Or there's something that you're interested in, like doing Zoom webinars. I'm sure there are many communities that cater to that. So there are Facebook groups. There are open groups where anybody can join, and then there are private groups where you have to um, answer some questions, or you have to be approved by the administrator. In a group, you very much like a page, you have all the ability to, you can schedule a post there. You cannot, at least to my knowledge, it hasn't changed. You can't connect the group to your Meta Business Suite. So you can't schedule posts to your group from your Meta Business Suite, but you can schedule posts within the group. So you can start to create a post within your Facebook group and then set it for a certain date or in time to publish. The group you can have moderators, you can have content creators, you can have other admins in there. So it can be managed by a group of people. And those tags, whether someone's a moderator or an admin, they show up when the group, those individuals are interacting with the group. You can also create ways of tagging content, but overall, this experience is very much the same on Facebook. But the thing that I love about a group is, and we have a group too. So if you search travel marketeers in Facebook right now, there is a group, and it'll ask you questions. Which Saturday session did you attend? And then we let you into the group, and we're just building the group, so there's not a lot going on there. But Andrea and I have big plans to add a lot of really cool content there, specifically for our travel marketeers. So what that group does is it insulates our people, your people, in this area where they can communicate with each other. And then they can build friendships and community from this group that you've created. And it also allows you this additional benefit and you can have unlimited groups and unlimited pages, but you still have to verify email addresses, so I wouldn't get crazy with the pages. But groups, you could. But what I love about a group is you can communicate to them through a group. You can communicate within a group about things that you cannot communicate publicly, meaning the people who are not known to you. There's certain things, maybe certain incentives that you're offering to your clients, or even working with a travel partner for something that is exclusive to your agency, or maybe an exclusive that we've given you that is more of a word of mouth thing, not something you can put on your website. There are loads, I'm not going to get carried away. There are lots of promotions like that or incentives like that where it, if you put it out there to the world, then that supplier will get hit by every other agency that didn't get that opportunity. So they will say you cannot publish this anywhere, but your closed group is something that the random public people cannot see, but your audience can. So I do love that about a group, that you can have more of that personal conversation, where your Facebook page is, you're broadcasting the information out to the world, and you want that. You want that. And have the Facebook page, and then once somebody becomes a part of your community, invite them into your Facebook group. It's a great, great tool to use. But it does take time. It takes time to grow. You have to be very mindful about posting on a regular basis and making sure that you're engaging with that community, which you should be doing across all of social media. But in your group, this you're the host or hostess of the party, and it's going to take you getting the party started. You don't, people are not the first to the buffet. Um, they're not the first to hit the dance floor. So the hostess needs to, well, oftentimes will make that happen. So you got to be mindful about that and making sure that you're monitoring that community, because as it grows, you don't want anyone to abuse it, abuse each other. You really want to foster a community that really represents what you're trying to achieve with your group. Um, and this is what I was going to say about the groups. So something that is really cool, and I've seen it with a few agencies who are focused on group travel, that have now built, they started small, but I'm just saying, now they have multiple groups because they create a group for each, or a Facebook group for each travel group that they've created. So this group joined me for a safari in 2022. And now every year they want a vacation experience like what we did on safari, every year. So I made a Facebook group just for them. They can share pictures. Oh, remember when I met a hyena? I don't know if that's a thing that you want to do, but uh, they can reminisce, and then they can start to say, "Oh, I'd love to go to Egypt. I'd love to go to Ireland, whatever it is." Um, so that community is something that it's a bond for them. They're going to get something out of that group, and what you're going to get is this cohort group that you can market to and create cool experiences for. And then when more people, word of mouth spreads about that particular group, and people want to come into that group and they want to travel with that group of people, that community, then that Facebook group is going to grow. Um, if you create another travel group, travel community, a few months later, going to Norway, then you could do the same thing. And you're essentially creating this segmented group based on what they purchased with you. They may not all look the same, be the same age, they might not have the same demographics, but their common thread is that they enjoyed that style of travel and traveling with you, or maybe not. But most people who are very successful with the filling their calendar with group travel are really focused on travel with me groups. So Hey, I'm Joshua, and I'd like to invite you every year I go to the Christmas markets. And I'm going to do it just like that with my shoulders. I'm going to invite you to my Christmas markets river cruise extravaganza. So not only are the Christmas markets amazing, but you get to travel with me, and you're not going to get tired of this at all. Just kidding. But that that marketing, that travel experience is a great way to build your brand, build your audience of people who are travelers and are going to buy from you, not just people that think you're cool, right? They're travelers and they will travel with you. And by putting them in a Facebook group, they now have the ability to build a community that you can foster and grow. And some of those groups can serve you as a business, but as a human being for years. And I'm a part of a few Facebook groups, and for the most part, I'd say now the way I use Facebook is about the groups that I'm in. So I'm looking for those updates from those groups versus the way I used Facebook in the past, which was to get updates from people. Now I enjoy Instagram for that. And I'm sure you could look at yourself and say, back a few years ago, where was I hanging out on social media? And it has that changed because I think most of us, there's an evolution, right? So I hope that answers your question, Heather. A lot of social media marketers or those digital marketers that are making a lot of noise today are going to tell you it's all about creating your Facebook group because you're creating that very much like an email list. You're creating that private community to speak to. And I believe in that. But what I have found is most people have not gotten the basics of social media and creating their strategy and how they are going to show up to social media. So if you hear somebody contradict me and they say, oh, it's all about the Facebook group, it is, but they're assuming that you've already taken care of the rest of your social media. I hope that makes sense. I'm happy to clarify that a little bit more. I think it's important to say here, like as I was just talking about community, social media has it's it has what it needs right in the name, social. Okay. You have to make it social. You have to show up to the party. And we've all been to those parties. Well, we've been different parties, right? So there's the parties that you go to, and it feels like a death march. And you're like, oh my gosh, get this party started, right? Um, so we've been to those parties. And then we've also been to the parties that are just like you walk in and 2 hours later, you didn't know that you're past your curfew and you need to go, right? You've just been swept up into it. So that's what social media is. Now it isn't most of the time it's not live unless you are doing a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or YouTube Live. Um, it's not live. It's not a two-way street. There is chat. And sometimes you can bring other people in, but it's not a party, right? But if you've been to a party and you have enjoyed somebody's company, somebody that you just met, you're enjoying their company. And I'm not talking about that kind of like kissy kissy wink wink. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, wow, what a fascinating person. I had such a good time with them. I Yeah, what that was the highlight of that party. That's what you want to be in social media. Um, Now, you don't have to be the loudest person in the room. You don't have to be the one wearing sequins and feathers. You don't have to be that person. You just have to be you. And you is enough. And people talk about differentiating their brand. Why can I not talk this morning? Um, That is your differentiator. You. No one can be you. It's when you try to be somebody else in any situation that it all falls down, right? You can't keep that up. But by bringing you and showing up to the party, be interesting. I mean, you don't have to be glitz and glamour, but you have to be you and be interesting. So think about your content as ways to show who you are. And when I say you, you can say, you can put your company, especially if you represent a group of agents, right? So how you show up as your company needs to represent what you want your company to be known for, okay? If it's you personally, then and that sells a lot. I say that a lot. You For many solopreneurs, they go the route of promoting the company brand when they need to sit right here. This is the brand, and I am enough, and I am the one that will maybe take you on some of those I've got groups on my mind right now. But I might be the one that's taking you on the Christmas markets tour that I do, my annual Christmas markets tour. So you want to know a little bit about me. Now, I'm not going to tell you, oh gosh, I'm having a bad day. You're not going to go there. You're on, right? You're the public persona of you. Um, but you're trying to be interesting and you're trying to intrigue people. And sometimes you might even tease people. Like, oh, I've got big news to drop next week and it involves hyenas. This is a Saturday morning with me at any given time, not just on Zoom. So I hope you're having a good time. But show up, be social. You don't want to be that guy who is, hi, I'm Mr. Franklin and blah, 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 blah. And then let me give you my business card. Whoa, 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 buddy, buddy, buddy. I am drinking my fruit punch right now. I was not ready for a business card exchange. Okay. And yeah, you're coming in hot. This is Carol's holiday party. Why are you trying to hawk your wares here? Okay. Don't be that obvious. It's social. Like, be social. How do I sell my business without handing out flyers at inopportune moments at a party? I work on my gravitational pull, being interesting and finding ways to be known for travel without wearing a logo on my shirt. Okay. So I can definitely start preaching on that. Can I get a TM? Yeah, there we go. I can definitely start preaching on that, but I do want to dive into some of these examples. So I'm going to check the questions right now, see if there are any questions, and then I want to go back because we do have some examples that I'd like to work with when thinking of strategy. Okay, social media strategy. So yes, 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 yes. All right. So Kara said, the bummer about Meta Business Suite is that for things like stories, it doesn't have all the same bells and whistles as if you made it directly in Instagram. Sometimes I feel like you have to choose between basic but easy, which would be Meta Business, or fancier but more tedious, and that would be Instagram directly. Kara, I'm really glad you brought that up because that is my biggest grievance is with meta business is you don't get all the things. You don't, it isn't the same content. Um, like you said, using those tools that are in app. And that is annoying, but it does work well for things like sharing images and links to pages, more the longer content, the stuff that you want to stage. But that if you are creative, and I know you are, those tools that you get within the app are really helpful. But let's be honest, not everybody is wanting to play with all the tools. And that is actually something that's very overwhelming for many people. So that I'm glad that you brought that up. It is true. You don't get all the bells and whistles that you do with the app when you're creating content, but you don't get the full analytics view. You don't get some of the other things that you get in Meta Business Suite. So for me, I use I well, actually, I don't post for me personally. I don't use Meta Business Suite because I'm not promoting my personal brand. But for our company, we definitely do, and we use other tools as well. But we also are creating some of those things manually and making sure that we're engaging with the tools. And the other thing I like about some of those in-app tools is they add things all the time. And you have to be one of those people who can really go with the flow and who's like, what is this? Let me see what it does. And it can be exciting and it's a great way for you to re-engage with their platform. But then somebody else who hasn't even started in social media and using it for their business looks at your posts, Kara, and they're like, oh, I'll never be able to do that because you have been more engaged with those tools as they've come out and you've played with them. And I've followed Kara for a long time. Kara, if you'll do me a favor, will you drop in your social handle just so people can have a look at it? Because Kara, I love what Kara does with her email newsletter. And I love what she's been doing with social media for a while now, but I have noticed, I see a girl, I have seen her really develop and settle into her social persona. And I'd love for you guys to take a look at it and like and subscribe, do all that stuff. Because I think Kara has done a really great job. So check that out. But yeah, oh, and Heather, thank you. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I was gonna give credit to Heather. Sorry. Who beat me to it or who beat you to it was Mercedes. I forgot Pinterest. Oh my gosh. How did I forget that? So thank you, Mercedes and Heather, for reminding me. Pinterest is if you hopefully you know about it, but if you don't know about it, Pinterest is a way for you to create these great boards of content that you've found all over the web. And you can create multiple boards. You can make some of them private and public. So they're great as a travel advisor for you collecting thoughts of things like, oh, I want to go back to that website. I want to dive deeper into this, whatever. That's interesting. So I love that. But then you can also curate these boards with your own content, which is a strategy I've used many times. If you're going to publish your blog, create a beautiful, or if you're going to publish your blog, if you have a blog and you want to publish those articles and then pin them to your Pinterest board. I can almost guarantee that over time, you will start to see through your Google Analytics people visiting your website through Pinterest, which I find bizarre. I'm not a Pinterest user, except for when I'm looking for tattoos. I will be honest with you. That is the only time. So I would say my boards probably look very bizarre, but I will go on random searches for tattoos. So I could say that. But I was very surprised when I started incorporating Pinterest into a blog promotion strategy, how many people were coming for all types of things, not even fun things, like things that were very technical, things that were not fun products. But it's if you're in that Pinterest world, it is a fantastic way for you to get people to visit your pages because that's what it's collecting, our pages, our web pages. You can also create those pages as uh, educational interest Pinterest pages for your maybe you're putting together a group, or maybe you do destination weddings. Maybe there are links that you send to every bride to be from just different things. You know, you're the expert, so they go to you and they ask you all these questions. Maybe you create a board all about that, and you engage on that platform, and draw those people into your board, which then ultimately will come to your page. So again, Heather and Mercedes, thank you for that. Heather said a webinar this week said that Gen X loves Pinterest. Um, I I think that's interesting. That would be a really good thing. It's been a while since I've done a dive into Pinterest, and really all the social media platforms, because over time, as we age, and as the platforms get mature, the demographics kind of shift around. So I'm sure we could do a search right now and find out what the demographics look like for the social media platforms. But I've never heard someone say that Gen X loves Pinterest. Um, let's see. Stacy said that she's got a question, and I'm going to see if I can get Stacy, if I can unmute Stacy. Oops. Oh, maybe she doesn't. All right, maybe she realized she didn't mean to hit raise hand. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Daniela said, will it make a difference if you create and schedule your posts with Canva Pro in regards to the algorithm? Um, I have not done that before. So you're catching me without a preloaded answer, but I'm gonna give you my gut feeling is all of these platforms are more prone to love their own tools and their own interfaces. When you're going outside of them, then I'm not saying that they would do anything wrong, but I'm just saying, uh, will it make a difference? Maybe not, but I have used interfaces to schedule posts before and still do today. And sometimes those get disconnected, as different things get updated. And then if you're not paying attention, then some of your scheduled posts won't go out. Um, and ultimately, you engaging with their platform in that way, in particular to schedule. Um, they're going to watch how you're using the tool, and they're going to keep making enhancements to it. If you're using another tool, that tool is going to use that same information, but that's isolated and it's not in the whole meta universe. So I don't think it will make a difference in your experience. I just think overall, use Canva to create the content. If you guys have not used Canva, Canva.com, you can sign up for a free account. You can create images. You can create motion graphics. So motion graphics being video graphics, which is a great way. I wanted to hit Canva for being able to make videos when maybe you don't want to be on camera. There's some fun things that you can that are templated out that you can adjust and then make it your message. And then now you've got motion graphics for YouTube, Reels, all that. So Canva is a really cool tool. So I don't think it will make a difference. Won't make a difference in the algorithm. But some of the information, if I remember correctly, some of the information that you start to build within Meta Business will start to suggest when there are times when, based on how you've posted and what people have interacted with, it will start to suggest times that are likely times for people to be engaged. Now that there's a lot of factors that go into it, so I wouldn't hang my hat on that. But I just think using a free tool that's already connected and helping that get better is going to benefit you more. That's my thought. But Daniela, you do you, and you tell me what you think later. All right, Heather, and I am going to get to you guys who left who left me specialization because I want to get into that. But I've got some questions here. So, another Heather has said, what are your thoughts on virtual cruise nights or other virtual events? If we host them, is it better on Zoom or Facebook Live? Heather, I love this question because there are benefits to both, okay? Whether you use Zoom or you use Facebook Live, there are different benefits. So with you can do Facebook Live on your page. You can do YouTube Live on YouTube. You can do an Instagram Live, which is a different experience, but depending on your demographics and what the content is, Instagram Live might be a better option. Um, those are very public. So Facebook Live, if you have a group, Facebook group that you've created, is a fantastic place to host an event where you're wanting to speak to your customers or the ones that are known to you. I mean, I would like to keep my group more personalized. Like we don't let anybody get into the travel marketeer group. You have to have come to one of these sessions before we let you in. And the reason why is we don't want someone who's selling other marketing things to just fly across the group and then jump in and then promote their thing. That's not, we want to make it a community of travel marketeers. So your Facebook group, if you have a Facebook group, it is a great place. It's almost like inviting, doing a virtual cruise night or other type travel event. You're doing it in person, right? You're in your house. So a Facebook group is going to give you that in your house experience. So it's also great when you do have those incentives. So sometimes you could do a cruise night or a travel night. Let's just call it travel night. And you're working with somebody like Colette. And the reason why I'm using them as an example is because they do a lot of in-person events, and they're very good at them. And there's loads of other partners too, but I just want to, just because they had my ear recently, and I just remember them talking about a few things, but they can create closing events, meaning to help you close the deal. So they can add some incentives that are only available to your audience, and only if they book or deposit now. Okay. And I'm not saying Colette always says that, but I'm just saying I know that there are different instances. River cruises, there's lots of options here, but the partner will only do those types of or give you those types of opportunities if it's closed off. In person, very easy to do. Virtually, a little harder to do. So if you've got a Facebook group, that is a great place to do it in. And the and Zoom, of course, that is the ultimate, right? You can collect a bunch of information on your audience before they join. So you could open it up to people who are not known to you or are part of your community. Yes, you send out your emails. Yes, you create social posts and you talk about this event. You put the event on your Facebook page, right? So you are collecting people. But if this is a topic where or an event where you might have some of those special incentives and opportunities, then maybe you call anybody who had registered that you don't recognize. They're not in your CRM. You're like, I need to make sure this is a real person, right? And not the agency down the road trying to snoop on me, right? I'm not trying to make you paranoid, but I'm just saying if you want to have that more intimate group and feel, then you're going to use Zoom or you're going to use your Facebook group to do that. And oftentimes you can be a little bit, you can do a little bit more because it's this known group that you're working with. Whereas when you're doing something publicly, that partner is not necessarily going to, they might talk about their product, but they can't do any limited time only. They'll likely not talk about any special promotions without having to put all the disclaimers in. Whereas behind closed doors, they can be a little bit more natural about it and also come up with some additional opportunities. So there's benefits to both. If I have something special that I only want to offer to this intimate group, then I'm going to do it in Zoom. I'm going to do it in the group. If it is something I'm trying to be known for, Christmas markets, river cruising, if that is what I'm going for, then I might, and I would strongly suggest this for everybody. If you don't have anybody to talk to about what you're specializing in and you're trying to build an audience, then go live. Just go live. I always say the first 11 that you do are going to be terrible. And that's even if you pre-record your videos, they'll be terrible. You'll hate them. You'll be embarrassed by them. But by that 12th one, you are going to be on point. And nothing sells your brand better than you. So go live, go live, go live, or record it. Just make video. Video is very important. So if you are doing more of a, let me tell you about the Christmas markets and how you can experience them on the river and what that is like. Maybe you've got some photos that you want to share, right? Then go on YouTube Live, go on Facebook Live. Instagram Live is more of you talking. So maybe you go Instagram Live when you're actually at the Christmas markets. Now that's must-see TV. But those of you who know. But that's good entertainment and that's great content. And that can be a part of your strategy is if you are someone who travels a lot and you travel the way you want your clients to travel, go live while you're taking these trips. That content right there, maybe people don't join you live, right? But that is really rich content that you can save, you can share in other places. And it's you being real and you being in travel. That speaks volumes. The other thing I was going to say about the difference in Zoom and Facebook Live, group or public, is yes, you can send emails, you can have people register for your webinar. They're going to get Zoom webinar reminders, things like that. People sign up for things and they don't show up, right? But at least you know who is going to show up, and that helps you even drill into who is interested in this type of content, and maybe that trip, that experience. So you can now isolate those people and you can continue to market them. Just because they didn't show up doesn't mean anything. I sign up for like 15 webinars every single week that I don't show up to. I feel bad, but I had the intention to go. It's just I got busy with something and I didn't go. So that piece is something you gotta factor in. But what I love about Facebook Live and YouTube and Instagram Live, whichever platform you play in or you want to play in and you start to play in, that the notification you get, your followers get whenever you do go live, even if it's not a scheduled thing or it is a scheduled thing, you will get people who drop in because all of a sudden they looked at their phone and it said, "Oh, Joshua's going live. I'm going to find out what's going on." Boom. And then they pop in. So your chances of picking up audience members who weren't planning to attend is much higher when you're using the live platform. Um, but it's not you don't necessarily know. You will see usernames in some cases, or if they've interacted or they're commenting, you will see some of the people who have watched the video. But With Zoom, you know exactly who registered and who attended. And if they didn't attend and it works for your content, then you can always send them the link to watch the recording, and you might pick up a few people that way. So, wow, that was a lot. And there's a lot of, for cruise nights, for travel nights, there's a lot of social media content you can create um, that has nothing to do with the actual virtual event. So if you do it in person or you do it virtually, you can create a lot of content around that event. You know, obviously before the event, you're trying to get people to come, but after the event, you start to have little snaps of different moments within the virtual event or the in-person event, right? And you share that out, plugging whatever it is that you were trying to promote. And people who didn't attend didn't even know about it, or they did know about it and they just didn't register, or they didn't go. Um, you're going to pick up a few people that way too. You might not necessarily pick them up for that specific thing, but the next time you have an event, they'll be like, oh, I know what it is. I know what it's going to be like. So you make sure you showcase your best, but don't just think about getting people to the event and the event itself. Think about what you can do afterwards. All right. Heather, great question. Thank you for asking it. Um, and other Heather said, thank you so much. She said, MySpace was always a party with the added music to our profiles. I missed that, LOL. Yes, I miss that too. That's where we all got to come together around our personalities on the web. Well, that was a long time ago. All right, I'm getting some TM. So if you like something I said, because sometimes I get a little preachy, I know, I apologize. Just give me a TM for like an amen. It's a travel marketeering. And Mercedes gave me one, so thank you for that. Let's see here. And Kara, thank you for sharing your Instagram handle as well as your Facebook page. Guys, that's in the Q&A. Grab that and just take a look, because Kara does some really cool things. And while she operates as a company, she is very much the company. And you can glean a lot from tuning into her social media, because I know, based on how her brand has evolved, I now know when I'm watching or consuming any of her content, um, that is the person who's going to be on the phone or in the video call that I might be having. She's doing a really great job of showing up to the party as herself, and sometimes she's in destination. She is living that travel life. Other times, she might be in her community and she's showcasing Halloween, and the way that she does Halloween. All of it feeds into her brand and makes her social media experience an experience. And I want to grab onto the word experience. When you start to think about your social media being an experience and not just a bullhorn for you to blast out your messages, right? When you're thinking about being that interesting person at the party, right? You start to become a really good editor of your ideas and your content. So sure, you could take a picture of a moose that you got from Princess Cruise Line's website. Uh, you can take a picture of a moose and slap it on your social media and say, book a cruise with me, right? But is that you? Is that truly you? And some of you might say, yes, a moose is very me. It is, I am moose all day, every day, right? And that's fine. But how can you take that picture and make sure that the person who views it gets a glimpse, they get to experience your brand? So book an Alaska cruise with me. And that picture that you got from a cruise line, right? That picture, the person in social media who's looking at this post might have seen this image before. Maybe they have. I don't assume that always, but I mean it is available for other travel advisors, right? How many of them are not travel marketeers? A lot of them. So they're going to say, book an Alaska cruise with me. But you're going to say, I, every time I see a moose, it makes me happy. When I see a moose, it brings me so much joy, and that's why I love cruise tours with Alaska, particularly with Princess Cruise Line. So maybe I'm going on one, so I've got a group going, or it is time to book your 2025 Alaskan cruise or 2026 Alaskan cruise, whatever time of the year it is, right? Um, so now that you don't have to be in love with mooses. Are they mooses or mices? Mooses. Yeah, they're mooses. You have to be in love with mooses. But I was just trying to be very dramatic about why I put that picture on my social media feed. Why did I pick that? For some of you, it might be if you love wildlife the way I do, Alaska is such a treat. I've been a few times and I love when I see a moose. Something like that, right? Make it fit your personality, but bring you to it. Because if you don't bring you to it, it is what every other non-travel marketeer would be putting out there. And you are not basic. Don't do that. Okay. Figure out ways to make it unique and special. All right, hold on. I'm really behind on the Q&A, guys. Oh, Stacy said sorry. I just wanted to announce that she accidentally hit the hand raise. Thank you, Stacy. Althea said, "Good morning, TM. TM back at you. My niche is culinary and culturally immersive travel. I'm newish. Kara, I would love to talk to you sometime. Yes, you two should talk." And Althea and Kara, I want to dive into the specific niches. So we're gonna get to that. Let's see. Alicia said, I'm not seeing Kara's information. So what I might have done, Alicia, is I might have put it in the answered section. So under Q&A, I think there's a place for open questions and answered. If not, Kara, I might have to ask you to drop that in and I'll just leave it up. I was clearing it as I was going. So sorry about that. Let's see. Okay. Misty said the same thing. Gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I really messed up there. Hey, I will tell you that while I was talking about using Zoom for virtual nights, my favorite is actually Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So I'm newish to running Zooms on my own here. All right, everybody's seeing it now. Okay, thank you, Kara, for dropping that. I think you're gonna pick up a few followers. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so real quick, before we dive into talking about the some of the niches that we were talking about or that have been dropped in, I just want to show you how easy it is. Hold on, I've got to figure out what I'm doing here. Hold on, stand by. This is called live, okay? I want to pop over to Meta Business and show you that. So give me a moment here. And you could do this too. If you already have Meta Business, then just pop over there. You might already be familiar with this or not, but you can definitely pop over. And if you haven't signed up for it, I can't tell you exactly where to sign up for it because I signed up for it so long ago, I don't remember. So I don't remember how, but let's see. Hopefully you can see it. Are you guys able to see my screen? Let's see here. I hope so. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Heather. All of a sudden, I got an Apple error, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Okay. So, Meta Business Suite. This is an old. Uh, yeah. Look at this. This is a very old. Look at me. Oh, I haven't changed and aged a bit, but this was a podcast I did. Maybe I'll bring the podcast back. But you can see over here in the upper left underneath Meta Business Suite. Oh, don't see my whole desktop. Oh, no, 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 no. That's awful. You don't want to see that. That is not good. Oh, Jenny, you can watch later. You can watch on YouTube. Just search for uh World Via Travel Network. Why I got so confused because I was sharing my whole screen. That was pretty ugly. So you can go to World Via Travel Network and you can find the recording of this there. Okay, so you can definitely pop off. Kara, thank you for telling me you could see my whole desktop. Now I've got to fix this. Hold on. Let's see here. Now and here we go. Is that much better? Wow, you saw how messy my desktop was. That is not good at all. All right, so looking at Meta Business Suite, you can see where Instagram and Facebook are combined for this. Uh, so uh, so this is where I can manage. I get like Kara was saying, we can create a reel, we can create a story. We're not gonna have all the tools that we could use. Not great. But yeah, so you can create a post. Um, well, there we go. We can create a post. And we can pick, are we going to do it on, oh, I can create into you can post to a Facebook group that is linked into, is owned by the Facebook page. I forgot about that. So you can do that, but most uh, Facebook groups, sorry, are when you originally set them up are owned by the person, and those are the ones that you can't schedule, if I remember that correctly. But what I did here is I made sure that my page was the creator of the Facebook group, and that is a step. And I'm not going to show you that step. It's easy, but I'm just saying I'm not going to show you that because I just wanted to do kind of a brief overview of this. But I can choose to schedule on the Facebook group or all of these things, or I can pick different ones. As you can see, these things have all been disconnected. But I have the ability to create a post, and then I can set my date and time, and then I can schedule this, which is a great way for you to plan ahead and create your content. If you're creating a social media campaign, then you can create that campaign and create all the social posts and schedule them all in one go so you don't have to think about it again. That I think is a big plus. So to my knowledge, there isn't a limit to how many you can schedule in advance, but you come here and schedule it. I think that's a very, very easy way to make sure that you are posting on a regular basis, to use your meta business and schedule your posts in advance. Maybe every Sunday you spend 2 hours on social media for the week, or maybe for the month. It depends on how much content you're going to put out. But you can create it, schedule it, forget it. And then the fun thing is whether you're at a kid's a t-ball game or you're waiting at the dentist's office, you can respond. That's when you can interact. So you didn't remember that this post was going to go at 1 p.m., but it went at 1 p.m. while you're at the dentist and you're waiting to see the dentist. And now people are interacting with your posts. And so you can now be that social person at the party. So highly, highly recommend that you schedule in advance. And I just wanted to show you how easy it was, and again, free for you to do it within Facebook and Instagram. If you're asking me, where should I play? Where should I play? Well, where do you play in social media today? Are you an Instagram person? Are you a Facebook person? Are you both? Do you sometimes go to TikTok? Um, where do you play? Because that's where you're going to add the most value. And that's where you probably have an audience as an individual. So it's a little easier for you to get people to transfer over and subscribe to your pages or your social media content. If you are looking for a particular demographic. So TikTok tends to skew a little bit younger. And with that information, if you are selling younger travel or travel to a younger age group, then maybe you, which is 100% fine. That's when you want to look into meeting them where they're at. Who are these people and what kind of content resonates with them? And then you need to participate in that community, and you got to show up in a different way than what you're used to. But you might, I'm sure, if this is who you want to cater to, you are going to have fun and you're going to learn about a lot about them, and it's a win-win all the way around. Okay. Now, I don't believe you have the ability to schedule a post. Well, I know you can't schedule a post within TikTok for or Meta Business for TikTok, but I don't believe you can schedule a post in TikTok from the app. I'm trying to draw my memory there. But I also wanted to show you here when you are in Meta Business, you can go to a planner, and now you can look at a week, and you can. It's going really slow. Sorry. Once you create, I'm afraid to do it here. Once you create your posts, you will start to see them in this calendar view. And then you can even adjust it. So you can click on it and you can edit them, whether you want to edit the content or you want to edit when they're going to deploy. You can do that all from here, which is very helpful to be able to look at the month and see what you've got going on. I did notice this. They actually put little holidays in here, which might give you some inspiration on what you want to post. Just saying, might be an idea. All right, let me stop sharing because that is all I wanted to talk about there. Very, very helpful. And again, quite embarrassed that you saw how messy my mind was with my screen. Let's see here. Daniela said, thank you. I need to jump off. She's got a scheduled call with her client at 10 a.m. We'll catch up on the replay. I'm very excited about it. While Daniela was here in Atlanta, we talked. She uses Calendly to give the link out for her clients or potential clients to schedule meetings with her. And so while she was here for like 10 hours of content every single day. And she was worried that she would miss out on business. And she made sure that she got her linked out and or blocked out her time on her calendar within Calendly, and then sent it out. So she was taking calls in the evenings, in the mornings, whenever people were wanting to schedule. So I know that she is really excited that she had her call. So I'm happy for her. All right. Carol asked a really good question. How important is the timing of your posts? Well, Carol, that is the same as how often I should post. Okay. Uh, it becomes very important once you have tried different time slots. So you have to post a little bit before you can tell. And for everybody, it's going to be different uh, based on who is following you and when they're engaging with your content. And when you're getting started, or if you're not posting that frequently, uh, it's harder for you to gauge. Maybe your content is meh at the time. So you said, oh, you posted it at 9 a.m. on a Monday, and you're like, oh, never 9 a.m. on a Monday because that is a bad time. But you have to also be very objective and look at your content and say, huh, was it that good? Uh, was it my best? Okay. And you also have to have several posts go out at 9 a.m. before you can say 9 a.m. is a bad time. So I would post as frequently as you can on social media, and try different times. And if you're not planning it in advance, post when you think about it, right? So that might be 8:30 at night. That might be 11 a.m. on a Thursday. Could be random times. Once once you are pushing out content on a regular basis and you can see, okay, it seems like my evening posts do better. Okay, I'm going to push all my posts into the evening. Uh, if I post on a Saturday, nobody sees it, right? These are the things that you don't know until you start posting, and you have to be posting consistently in order to get that information. But there's always a but, right? Uh, a good starting point for most travel businesses, because unless you're a corporate travel management company, you are selling your marketing to travelers, for leisure, or for specific occasions like weddings. So if you are catering, for business to business marketing, you do want to kind of stay within that the business day. It doesn't really mean that people are going to absorb that content at that time, but it just makes sense. You're a business working for a business. So for TMC, that's one thing. But for most of you, I would assume that you're trying to reach people after they get off work. So a good rule that I picked up years ago, and it has served me well. So I will share this with you if you're just getting started. But once you start posting on this schedule, then it can skew your information. It because you've only posted during these times. So what some studies had provided, and it's still held pretty true, is Sundays through Thursday after 7:30 p.m. in your time zone. Okay, so that's more for local businesses, but many of us, the community starts around our local area. So 7:30 p.m. Sunday through Thursday serves many, many people well. You're reaching people after, if they've got little kids, they've already done bath time, kids are going to bed. Now the scroll is gonna start for mommy and daddy. Um, and if you don't have kids, it's the time when, it's now the evening, I've had supper. Now what am I going to do with my time? So I'm probably watching TV and on my phone at the same time. So that is good. Friday nights tend to be evening out nights. So a lunchtime post, specific time, doesn't really matter, 11 to 1, whatever. Friday during lunchtime is a good time, and Saturday mornings. And Saturday mornings, we're saying before 10 a.m. So before everybody gets out and goes about their day. But they might be having coffee. Maybe they don't have to go to work on a Saturday. So they're not rushing around getting ready. Maybe they're lying in bed, or they're out in the back garden. But that's the time when they can start to consume content. So if you got started and you wanted a suggestion of a schedule, that's where I would start. That's the information I would use. But I still would try some other times, because your audience is your audience, and your time zone, and their lifestyle will all impact that. Okay. All right, Carol, I'm going to take that as a TM. All right, so we are getting to the end of time, and I did not mean to just get swirled up in questions there. I hope we talked about some really good things. I feel like we've talked about some really good things. But I don't know that we got to creating that strategy. And I wanted to go back to the examples that Kara gave me, Mercedes gave me, and I didn't. We kind of talked a little bit about some of those things, but I hope what you got out of today's conversation is the power of showing up to the party as you, and you can be you personally or your brand. And I I really want you to think about social media as being social, but have a strategy. If I am trying to sell weddings, it needs to be very clear. It doesn't have to be all of my posts, but it needs to be very clear that I love weddings. I have done weddings. I need to see weddings. I need to be able to see that, and then I need the content, the text that goes behind the images or the videos to support that. So you want to make sure that you're not, if you are a Disney seller and we never see any Disney anything on your social media, then how am I going to know you're all about Disney, right? Cruises. If I have never seen a picture of a cruise ship, I've never seen you on a cruise, I've never seen your clients on a cruise, uh, I, how do I know that you do cruise? Those are really simple things to consider when you're coming up with your strategy. So I just want to make sure that you've got that. Now, before I wrap, so next week's session, we will be back. I will be back next week, 8:30 Eastern time. We're going to be talking about crafting your buyer personas to drive explosive growth. Okay. We've talked about this a lot. That's a big key to your strategy, is knowing your audience. Who is your target? So we're going to dive into buyer personas and building those customer avatars. Mean the same thing, customer avatars or buyer personas. But we're going to dive into those because we've talked about it on every single session. We've talked about having your target audience. And I would like to play around with buyer personas. So I do hope you show up for that. But before we wrap, I do like to ask, any aha moments that you had during this session that you can implement within the next 7 days? Anything that you really like, that is a nugget. I'm going to use that. And please do not say, have a tie to your desktop. Don't say that. While you guys are dropping those in the Q&A, I just want to remind you, I know we spoke about it earlier, please, if you're on Facebook, please search for Travel Marketeers, not Travel Marketeering, Travel Marketeers, and you will see our group. And you just hit the button to join and tell us that you watched the session. Love to have you there. Say hi. We've got big plans for what we're going to be pushing through that group pretty soon in terms of giving you access to some things. So that's why I'm talking about it. And feel free to talk to each other, because marketing is ever evolving, and the community and coming together around good marketeering, travel marketeering, is we are an endangered species. We're a species that we just created, and we're an endangered species. So come and be a part of the community and share ideas with each other, and ask some of these questions that you asked. I would love I love answering questions in the sessions, but I'd love to answer questions that you may have throughout the week. So don't hold back. It'll be either me or Andrea or somebody else on the World Via team, because we've got a lot of travel marketeers around here. So let's just see if anybody had aha moments. And let's see. Oh, Catherine said she's was watching from the airport. She is watching. I'm glad, Catherine. She was also here in Atlanta for our in-person training sessions. So Catherine, thanks for tuning in while you're at the ATL. Kara's excited about buyer personas. Heather is schedule my post. Yeah, just do it, Heather. Karen, thank you for watching, and you have a great weekend. And Carol said lots of interest in Christmas markets, so I will work on figuring out a way to market this as a group event. Definitely, definitely. That is a way to introduce people to river cruising too. It's something that I didn't even know existed until I joined the travel industry. So that's what I automatically assumed river cruising was. And then I realized I love river cruising. It is my travel spirit animal. I'm just saying. So, Carol, love that. And Anne-Marie, I just started my Facebook page, so the times for posting I found very helpful. Well, good. I'm glad that you used it, but remember, if you post on that schedule, then it's going to say, oh, your best time to post is at 7:30 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. So as long as you sprinkle a few others in, then I think you can test out. But even if you don't want to change your times, I think that that has served me well for many, many years in various different industries. So I think you're pretty safe with that. All right. I am so grateful that you guys spent all this time with me on a Saturday. I hope you had fun. I hope you got inspired. I hope you are going to do some really cool travel marketing this week. I hope that you can join live next week or watch it on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, search World Via Travel Network, and you will see this playlist and a lot of other content there. So look forward to seeing you again. Take care of yourself and see you real soon. Bye. Bye.